Joey Katabian for impacts off the bench. For Heidelberg United, George Katsakis selects Brendan White between the sticks, back four of Les Dumbalis, Stephen Pace, Luke Biles and Josh Wilkins. In midfield, Adrian Zara, Paul O'Brien and Harry Noon support a front three of Ruben Way, Sean Ellis and Lucas Derrick. Look out for number 16, Tom Cahill, to make an impact off the bench in the second half. Chris, welcome. This is a huge day for NPL here in Victoria. What do you make of the teams?
Well, it's an absolute privilege to be here with you, Josh, and a day that really could decide the premiership for Avondale if they can get the win. Heidelberg trying to stop them and bring it to the final day, and they will never give up, will Heidelberg. But both sides with quite strong sides. Tom Cahill on the bench, I would have thought he might have started to have that physical presence up top if Heidelberg gets a little bit buried down at the back and have to play that longer sort of football and feed off him. Speaking to Zoran Markovski, the second bowls is really what's going to win them the game today, trying to stop Heidelberg from doing that style of football. So looking at the sides, both sides quite strong. Jonathan Germano starts in midfield for Avondale and adds that bit of experience, but it should be an excellent game in beautiful sunshine here at Avenger Park.
Absolutely. Let's just go through the stakes today. Avondale a point clear on top of the table, first versus second. So if they win today, they will secure the premiership title. Of course, there's still finals to come, but many here in Victoria are traditionalists and value that success. Heidelberg have to win to have it in their hands going into the final round next week. And we are off. The referee, Pascalis Nartis, gets us underway. And it looks as if both teams are setting up in their sort of traditional 4-2-3-1 setups. 4-3-3 if you went to a different school. But I'm intrigued by this Avondale back four with Lundy being pushed to left back, Healy playing right back, and Charlie Beverley in the middle, it looks like, Chris.
Yeah, well, Charlie Beverley is normally suited to a more centre-back position, has played full-back a few times today, but a few times this year since coming into the side after his knee injury that ruled him out for the start of the season. But you look at Ricabene on the bench, that was another option, but they've gone for that little bit of physical presence at the back.
Two players in the Avondale team coming back from injuries. Yite Towns, number 13 in midfield, and number 19, Brandon Lundy. Two players that they've sorely missed this season for months that they've been out. I think it was a shoulder problem for Lundy, and Yite Towns, particularly at the base of the midfield, is such an important player as he gets onto that header. Heidelberg battling hard for the loose balls as they always do. It's Derek trying to flick it on for Way, but Hillier gets in the way. Lofted ball. Dumbalis will chase it down under pressure from Ahmed. Sakir to get it on the deck, the Japanese magician. Perhaps the favourite for the NPL Gold Medal Player of the Season award after coming over from RPL Leichhardt in New South Wales. I don't know if that's a consensus opinion, Chris.
Oh, I think it is. I think he's pretty much had that since round 15 as Suzuki Sakia. He's been exceptional so far for Avondale, and both him and Lundy, coming from Apia, from winning sides up there in New South Wales Premier League, have really made their mark in NPL Victoria.
And here's Yusuf Ahmed, who gets the better of pace. Yusuf Ahmed will shoot on goal, and he's just dragged his effort wide. Big chance for Avondale to open the scoring.
Well, he's had to work hard to push himself into the starting lineup, Yusuf Ahmed, but his last month's been excellent. You look at the quality of Stefan Valentini on the bench and keeping him out of the side, and that's the real worry I've got in this game. Les Dumbalis, I thought they would have paid Ruben Way at left back today, but his pace and trickery is going to cause lots of problems for the veteran fullback.
Les Dumbalis, very physically adept player, is not going to be losing many aerial balls or 50-50 shoulder-to-shoulder challenges, but once Yusuf Ahmed starts running at him, he's going to find things difficult. And I think maybe an uncharacteristic mistake in that play from Stephen Pace, who would usually have cut that out far earlier before it got to that point. It's Way and Healy are battling for the header. Reed gets onto it ahead of his opponent, Germano. Now, Towns with a ball into no man's land. The captain, Luke Biles, clears for Heidelberg, and Scott Hillier will take the throw.
And also, just a quick look, it doesn't seem like the Facebook stream is up at the moment, so we'll try to rectify that. Obviously, everyone hearing us is watching us on the YouTube stream. So I'll wait to see if we can rectify that. I'll be trying to work on that, Josh.
Seems as if the changed kickoff time here may have impacted things. It was, of course, slated as a 3:15 kickoff, but been pushed earlier to 2:45.
Yeah, Avondale's done that with their last 4 home games. Started that a little bit early.
And Way gets onto the loose ball. It might have been advantage for Heidelberg, but the referee will stop things to bring out the yellow card for Charlie Beverley.
Straight away, the referee takes charge of this game. It was a little bit late more than anything, but it really did stop that attacking run from Heidelberg, who now get a chance. They're very dangerous on set pieces, especially with Alice's delivery.
It's a beautiful day here in Melbourne. We haven't been accustomed to too many of those recently when covering NPL games, but these two sides will be scrapping for every loose ball, every 50-50 challenge, putting everything on the line. Sean Ellis to take. Chris Oldfield gathers relatively comfortably. There's a little collision between him and, I think, Harry Noon just there.
Yeah, they both look a bit ginger after that one, just treading on each other.
Germano appeals for handball against O'Brien. Play goes on. O'Brien with the long ball, looking for the pace of Lucas Derrick, who starts up front today. Matt Reid can't cut it out, and Derrick is able to pick out Noon. Hillier steps in to clear. And Pace winning off the long ball. Zara's flick. Noon back to O'Brien. Now Wilkins. Little Cruyff turn to check inside from Josh Wilkins. His pass is cut out by Yite Towns, and Germano will try and set Stefan Zinni away. Should be Brendan White's ball, and it is. Not taking any risks, and he's managed to keep that in play, in fact. Wilkins to send another long ball over the top. Heidelberg, they don't shy away from the direct style of football that has brought them so much success. No pretensions about this side, but a lot of very capable players. Look at the way Biles is streaming into midfield there to try and track Sakia. O'Brien covering him from the moment. It's actually left a gap for Yusuf Ahmed to play Germano in behind. White hesitated. He got there in the end. Hearts in mouth moments for George Katsakis' side.
That's what Germano can do, those runs from midfield through the channel. The space was left open by Boland, and gee, he just could have parked a bus through there.
Boland has inadvertently headed into Ruben Way's path, and Ruben Way will take on all comers. No foul. Germano gets a foot in. And now it's Boland. Lovely touch from the number 9 to play in Germano. Germano trying to return the favour. Liam Boland, will he check inside onto his favoured left foot? He will try to. He lays it off. Sakia loses his footing at the inopportune moment. Bit of a 50-50 duel between Noon and Sakia off the ball. Sakia getting it back under his control. Surely a foul, and Adrian Zara will be penalised.
What a high tempo few minutes we've just had. Both sides, it's pretty open in midfield as both sides trying to push forward as quickly as they can, but a couple more physical challenges like that. Sakia so tricky on the ball. Sets Avondale up for their first set piece. And it's a big game for Liam Boland because Biles and Pace seem to deal with the big target man strikers so well. It's the quicker ones that really cause them problems, but Liam Boland with 22 goals so far this year, he's got the chance here for this set piece to try to get on the end of it.
Certainly will be a target in there. Beverley has made his way forward as well. Ahmed has plenty of height. Matt Reid has been prolific off set pieces in past seasons. Actually, this season as well, he hasn't done too badly for himself. Sakia and Germano. Will be Germano. A little bit too much on it. Reid trying to chase it down. Shields against Noon. Reid cutting back for Boland in the corner of the box. Boland trying to send a delivery in with his left. It's a hard challenge from Harry Noon. Hard but fair, as is his trademark. And it was Derrick's tackle in the end that sends it out for a throw.
Great scrambling there by Heidelberg. That's what they do best. A couple of sliding challenges in from their attackers.
It's a beautiful day for NPL football, and we should have a stunning game by the looks of these first opening minutes. High tempo, everything to play for. Germano now, the former Melbourne Heart man, gets a second bite at it. Plays in Sakia. Sakia looking to create space for the shot. He goes down, and the free kick goes the other way.
Well, there was a half foul there on Sakia as he was trying to bring the ball forward, but trying to keep it under his spell. But I think he more stumbled more than anything, and in the end, Biles definitely tripped over Sakia, who was in front of him. So And the option would have been Zini one-on-one through on goal, so the referee's probably done the right thing by giving that foul. Not that the Avondale bench are too happy about it.
Socky Markowski wouldn't agree. He's fired up today. And why wouldn't you be? But I do think Shakir stumbled on the ball more than anything. Germano goes down under Brian's challenge. Referee lets Avondale take the free kick quickly. Now it's Towns for Ahmed. Ahmed using his trademark trickery again. Plays in Yite Towns to have a strike on goal! And Yite Towns opens the scoring for Avondale. Look what it means to the players and to the benches beneath us. What a return from injury. Yite Towns, he's made an impact immediately. And haven't they missed him?
That's it. It just fell to him in such a perfect place. Dropped the shoulder, found that little bit of room and hits it into the bottom corner. Too much time to do that. Heidelberg will be so disappointed at the amount of room that Avondale had when they were streaming forward. And it was Yite Towns who always seems to bob up with an important goal here and there for Avondale, and he's back on the score sheet again as Avondale, well, they've got one hand on that premiership.
Everything that Yite Towns is about. Late runs into the area, dropping the shoulder. He's a deft, crafty player. And as the referee has a extended chat with the Heidelberg bench, I think they were disappointed with the manner in which Avondale were allowed to take that free kick quickly. Perhaps it wasn't in exactly the same spot as the foul took place.
Well, they've probably got every right from that aspect. The referee's trying to let the game go quick.
And he will book George Katsakis. Not the first time he's received a card while on the bench this season. Pascalis Natis having to lay down the law early. And we'll get back underway. Avondale with the early lead. Heidelberg have it all to do. 4 points down on the live ladder. Wilkins under pressure. He's given it up. Now Boland. Lundy lofts it forward to no one in particular. Wilkins with a bit of a loose touch. He invites pressure on himself, and well, it's been a nightmare couple of plays for Josh Wilkins.
It's actually a pretty decent crowd here on such a big game. Heidelberg always seem to bring a pretty big away crowd.
Hillier was stepping in. Germano took over and it didn't work out for them. Here's Harry Noon. They'll give away a free kick, and Harry Noon is making sure the referee knows all about it.
I had the break on there again, did Heidelberg. Noon just got it stuck in his feet a little bit. Couldn't release that pass earlier than what his teammate would have wanted, but it's always the danger with Avondale. They will always push their full backs into attack quite high. Normally their midfield come back and cover pretty well, but you look at that, Yite Towns and Jonathan Germano, a bit more of attacking intent in that midfield, so there will be a little bit of gaps for Heidelberg to try to exploit.
Well, we see tactical fouls from a lot of teams who play that high-octane possession style of football. You know, Pep Guardiola's Manchester City isn't afraid of one, and I think Germano is playing a savvy game just now. Big call to start him in the base of that midfield. He's been mostly a bench player this season. Obviously, he has a stellar A-League career in his past. I think the loss of Phil Ricobene as the anchor at the base of the midfield has really destabilised Avondale in the second half of the campaign after they were flying in the first half.
Yeah, that partnership between Ricobene and Towns early in the year with Tezuku Sakia being able to just roam and pick those little pockets in front of him and link up with the front three has been a reason why Avondale started the season so strongly, but that little break up in midfield, especially at the base of the midfield, has opened up gaps oppositions to exploit. And as you see, the second half of the year, Avondale have dropped quite a few points, but still in this strong position to still finish on top.
Ellis flicked on dangerously, and Oldfield is called into action by, I think, a header from his own player. Showing good spring there, the veteran goalkeeper.
Just taking that little touch, it nearly went over the top of him.
Always dangerous when Sean Ellis is sending an early ball into the area. It will be, in fact, Lucas Derrick to take this corner.
It did come off read, that one. Derrick's
delivery was headed away by Liam Boland. Biles to chase it down. O'Brien. And that will be a foul.
And a cheeky nutmeg by Paul O'Brien, who's been in excellent form, keeping Jack Petrie out of the side this year.
The Brandon Lundy is the player penalised. And Heidelberg will have another set-piece opportunity at an angle that really suits that left boot of Sean Ellis. What a magic left boot it is.
He sort of normally aims to go to the back post with this sort of delivery, does Ellis. Biles there at the moment. And you look for Stephen Pace or someone to reel around the back, I reckon.
A strong side off set pieces, Heidelberg. Oldfield comes and doesn't claim, and it's in the net. I think the final touch may have been an own goal.
It is. It's come off Lundy. Lundy just really focused on Biles, and it's come off his quad. And here you go, Heidelberg at back level. That delivery to the back post was delicious from Ellis. And in the end, it gets scrambled home. Oldfield missed it and be so disappointed at that.
Costly error from one of their most reliable players, the captain, Chris Oldfield, and Lundy couldn't really do much. He didn't move. Just came in, rebounded off his thigh.
Well, both benches is quite disappointed that both goals have pretty much come with free kicks that they don't believe should have been. Avondale didn't think that was a free kick, and Heidelberg, well, they were disappointed that the ball wasn't taken in the right spot. So I guess it's a controversial sort of one for both sides, and we're still level.
One each, I suppose. Fair's fair. Though, I'm not sure if either side will see it that way, Chris.
I couldn't ask for a better start as a neutral, though, here, Josh.
Reid will be up for this header. Boland flicks it on. Excellent challenge from Les Nambalis to see it away from Stefan Zini.
Well, Ahmed did start on the right-hand side and move to the left, and Zini, they crossed back over again as well. So 3 times they've changed wings already in this game.
Looking for plenty of movement in that front third would be Soren Markovski's priority. Hillier for Sakia. Now Lundy, scorer of that unfortunate own goal just moments ago. He's Yusuf Ahmed. Looking for Boland's feet. Boland trying to hold things up. Wrestling with Biles. He lets it slip out of his control and he'll track back, but Harry Noon has done absolutely brilliantly to hold on to it, and then the pass was off target. Zara coming in, steaming in.
And Paul O'Brien
trying to get a yellow card for Stefan Zini.
Well, the referee's been pretty quick with the yellow card so far in this game. I reckon both chances in a game like this, probably the referee could have slowed things down, given sides a warning, because they'll both miss times more than reckless.
I think the referee was objecting to a slightly raised boot from Zini as he went in for that 50-50. I did feel as though Zara came a little bit out of his blind side, though, so not sure how much he knew about another former Melbourne Heart player steaming in.
So Stefan Zini and Scott Hillier into the book early.
Beverley's header. Germano. Wilkins. Bit of head tennis. Sakia will send it forward. Should be Brendan White's. Hasn't had the most confident start to the game, really, either goalkeeper.
I've seen it a few times here at Adventure Park. As Stephen Pace, unfortunately, has got a leg problem, it seems, stretching out the calf and the quad. But there's been a few times in this pitch is quite slow. The grass is left a little bit long, so the goalkeepers are a bit uncertain if the ball will get to them or not. I've seen it early in the year where Melbourne Knights got caught out in a game here as well, and they thought the ball was going to go past the sideline, and in fact it basically stopped on the line, and Avondale were able to get an early goal in that game. So it is quite a slow pitch, and there's been a bit of rain around Melbourne this week as well, and with this new pitch being built and where we are on this side of the ground, there's a big retaining wall behind the ground, so this side of the pitch can get a little bit waterlogged at times.
As we see a substitution being made here, and it will be not a like-for-like change in any way, shape or form. Tom Cahill has come on for the injured Stephen Pace. A big loss for Heidelberg early on, and that's prompted a massive reshuffle of the entire team. Derek will come over to the left. Cahill will go up front, way back to left back, and then I think Les Dumbalis filling in for pace at centre half. So really had to reshuffle the team anti-clockwise, Chris.
Yeah, I thought that Paul O'Brien might have been the one that dropped to fullback and a bit of a reshuffle with Noon dropping deeper, but I think George Katakis has seen they probably need to hold the ball up a little bit more up top. So they've made that tactical change in this game.
Certainly the injury, really an opportunity to reshuffle for George Katakis if he sees things aren't working the way he wanted them to. And you get your wish, Chris. You thought Tom Cahill should start this game, and he's made an early introduction.
Well, he's been able to fix a couple of problems they've had early in this game where the pace of Les Dumbalis, the Avondale wingers are causing a few problems, so they sort of fix that with Way dropping back. And then obviously Cahill got that chance to hold the ball up more and play off Harry Noon and Lucas Derrick. I think he's better suited to out wide. And he'll also put a lot of pressure on Charlie Beverley on this side, so they've got the bigger, more slower full-back, and Derrick will go right up against him.
I think this setup looks a lot better for Heidelberg. I mean, despite losing Stephen Pace, who is obviously a core part of the team, as Boland goes in for a strong 50-50 and comes off second best with Wilkins.
It's a typical Wilkins sort of tackle. Well done to Boland for not pulling out either. Good contest between the two. But now it's really up to Liam Boland to really match himself up against Dumbalis and be able to hold the ball up against a smaller centre-back.
Lundy taking the throw. Looking for Boland again. He's so often offering it to feet. That was a difficult one to control. Ellis. Send it long and clear the lines and allow the Heidelberg back line to move up. Have given up possession though. Oldfield will restart. Playing out from the back. Beverley.
That's a change Heidelberg have to do with their long balls. Early in the game they were playing it into the channels for Derrick. But now that Cahill's there, they really got to play to his body.
Boland will be up for this header. It's Way. Germano sends it forwards, but will trickle out for a throw in, and Reuben Way will take in his new position at left back. No stranger to that role at all. Hillier heads away. We'll need a new ball.
And we are now, well, we have been for the last 10 minutes live on Facebook, so we'll go through your comments shortly.
We've got that technical issue sorted. Noon battling with Sakia. Ellis onto the loose ball. Ellis trying to keep it in. He wanted a foul for the holding from Matt Reid. He won't get one.
As Bill says, let's go Heidelberg. And Ziran says, if Avondale win, do they win the league? Well, they win the premiership.
There is still, of course, a final series. This is the penultimate round of the season, and we will have a final series, but there is a minor premiership on offer today for Avondale if they can get the 3 points. If you did miss the earlier action on Facebook, Yite Towns opened the scoring before an own goal from a corner after Chris Oldfield failed to come and collect. It was Brandon Lundy, the unfortunate player. As he's the man who wins that tackle and tries to set Boland away. It's Dumbalis' header, Ellis's flick. Towns got a foot in ahead of Cahill. Lundy to send it up the line. Valentini trying to keep it in. It was a nice touch, but he ran out of room. Got quite the healthy crowd. Heidelberg have brought a lot of fans with them today.
It's definitely the biggest crowd I've seen here at Avenger Park.
Why wouldn't it be? It's the title decider, first versus second, Chris. So much on the line, and you can really feel it. As Zoran Markovsky tells his team to calm things down and play their football, they're getting maybe sucked into the physical battles, which is something that doesn't suit their style. Long throw from Wilkins. Headed goalwards, and Lucas Derrick was nearly there to tuck it home. He will be penalised for offside. It was the last touch off Hillier, but Derrick was interfering in play, so offside, and it will be an Avondale free kick.
Hillier got his positioning absolutely right. He made that movement just to be just in front of Derrick, so he'd get to the ball first and then flicked it away, but as you said, they get out of danger anyway with the offside call.
Trying to play out from the back as usual is Avondale. That one didn't leave the box, and the IFAB laws haven't come into effect in NPL Victoria just yet, the update. So we will have a retake.
So this is the chance where Borland's up against Les Dumbalis. That's where the target's got to go.
Chris Oldfield sends his team further up the field.
Got to give this chance for Borland to win this in the air.
And Spiles, he judges the aerial ball better. Foul on Ellis. Heidelberg free kick.
It does sort of feel like a home game for Heidelberg. Every little challenge and every little foul, the crowd on the far side goes up as one.
Might be a 50-50 split of support today, in fact. And so many Heidelberg fans making the short trip from Melbourne's eastern suburbs to the northern CBD area of Melbourne, Parkville. It's a lovely little ground tucked away in the built-up area here.
And Avondale's done an exceptional job to build this up as much as they have in such a quick period of time.
Cahill was up for the header. He's Hillier. Sends it into the stratosphere. Germano and Zara try to get an inch on each other. Cahill is sandwiched. Referee straight on things, and he might produce another card here, will he?
Well, both Avondale players both went for the ball, got in each other's way, and ended up cleaning up Cahill at the edge of the box.
It's a human sandwich, and Cahill was the meat in said sandwich.
Sets up a great opportunity. Probably not the best angle for the left-footing options I'll have with Ruben Way and Sean Ellis, but it's imperative that Chris Oldfield gets this wall absolutely right.
Certainly favours a right footer for a direct shot, but Ellis is adept at putting these balls into the area from ranges that a lot of players would struggle with.
And he's got the quality here to get it up and over the wall from such a short distance. Oldfield's got to make sure that this two-man wall cannot allow the ball to beat him at the near post. You think of the not
a lot of height in that wall. Zara and Towns wrestling with one another. Ellis's free kick into the area, the cross in, and it's a penalty. Matt Reid was the man at fault.
It just had to be a penalty there. Cahill, perfect position, ready to bullet it home. And just the panic from Reid there, two hands in the back. Big shove, had to be a penalty.
It was a beautiful delivery from Sean Ellis. So much whip, so much pace on it, and Reid has made a costly error letting Tom Cahill get goal side. Romano still arguing the point with the referee, but it will be Adrian Zara, who is a very reliable penalty taker, to step up from 12 yards.
Well, it was always going to be Zara after Theodorides is on the bench. The goalkeeper likes to go up and try to get a penalty or so a year.
And Germano's just tried to rough up the penalty spot with his heel.
We've seen
tricks he picked up in South America, perhaps.
I'm a big fan of the dark arts, so those little things like that, but we'll wait to see if Zara gets the footing right and to put Heidelberg in front.
Adrian Zara versus Chris Oldfield to give Heidelberg the lead. We'll have more delays as Reid wrestles with Derek on the edge of the penalty area for first position. And we'll get a talking to.
This sort of plays into the favour. Avondale trying to delay this penalty kick.
Trying to ice the kick taker. Zara scored twice from the spot a few weeks ago at Dandenong City. Went the same way both times. Adrian Zara. He scores. Adrian Zara from 12 yards. As reliable as ever. He brings out the front flip in celebration right in front of the Avondale bench. Heidelberg 2, Avondale 1.
Well, there's a bit of byplay between the two squads. I think there's pretty much a game between the two benches as it is, but celebrations for Heidelberg. Adrian Zara had plenty of time to think about the penalty, picked his spot, and Oldfield really stayed in the same spot and was able to put the ball in the corner.
Heidelberg have barely had anything from open play in this game, Chris. 2 set pieces, one an own goal and the other a penalty award, and they lead. It's the simple things that give them the edge, Heidelberg United. That's why they are the reigning champions.
Well, Avondale, the best defence in the league, and they've basically given Heidelberg 2 goals from just a bit of reckless play.
Reed finding Sakia. Fouled by Biles, surely, yes.
Well, you called this earlier with Biles is happy to be pulled out of his centre-back position to track those runs so Sakia can't drop into those little pockets of space. It was not going to allow him to turn then.
Biles has been very aggressive coming out from that back 4. Can Avondale make the most of the space left behind? Sakia's been chopped again there. Play will go on advantage. Sakia in a bit of pain. Towns for Ahmed. Ahmed taking on 2 players. Hillier. Ahmed will run out of room.
I wait to see. The referee's not going to go back and book.
Sakia on his haunches now, and you do hate to see the creative players not get protection. It's all part of the Heidelberg strategy, the physicality, but it was a pretty unceremonious wrap around the back of the calves.
You see the real rivalry that's building up between these 2 clubs. You know, both sides playing in the grand final last year. A good chance to do that again this year, as they will go into as number 1 and number 2. Obviously, those positions are yet to be determined.
Free kick to Avondale. Harry Noon with the foul. Beverley. Lundy. Beverley.
It's been the first time in a while the game can little breathe for a little minute.
It's been very action-packed. Boland to turn Dumbalis. Boland sends the through ball. Stefan Zinni in behind. The flag was up.
I'm not sure about that one. I think I thought he timed the run quite well, but referee's in a much better position than us, Josh, so I've got to go with the referee's call.
Some of those pacey players, and Stefan Zinni is one of the fastest players in the league, I would say, are penalised for... Oh, that is...
He's definitely onside there. Just having another look at the replay,
which call.
we get the benefit of that, but obviously the linesman doesn't.
I assume it was for offside and not for some other indirect infraction that we weren't privy to.
Yeah, the flag was definitely up for offside, so very lucky Heidelberg, because
he was onside by several metres, Chris.
Looked like Zini was probably fouled in the box too. And again, Avondale getting really frustrated with this persistent fouling in midfield.
The referee can't allow a free kick to be taken quickly if he's going to book a player, and he will book Adrian Zara.
I think it's just this persistent fouling that the referee's just had enough of now. And that is, I do believe that is the 5th yellow card for Zara as well for the year, so...
Thanks, Soren Markowski, for letting us know that Adrian Zara is suspended next week against South Melbourne. The information was not directed in our direction.
As we do apologise if you can hear some of the expletives. As tensions are running pretty high. We're positioned in between the 2 benches who obviously talking about how beautiful day it is here, the beautiful sunshine, Josh, and how lucky we are to be out here and calling this beautiful game.
Emotions running high, Chris. Why wouldn't they be?
I think
referee having a talking to the Avondale bench now. He's been over to both benches.
And of course, this isn't the only game going on around NPL Victoria today. And it is Green Gully and Dandenong Thunder 15 minutes into the game, 0-0 between the 2. Green Gully could leapfrog Bentley by the end of today.
And the referee will have a chat to George Katsakis again now, who's already on a yellow card. Harry Noon getting a little frustrated by the stoppage in play.
Harry Noon has probably had the best year he's had in a Heidelberg shirt. He's already got 8 goals to his name. 7 is the best he's managed to score for Heidelberg.
And he's just intercepted that there. He's the only player in Victoria who probably wins those balls, Chris. He chases every lost cause. He's a crafty player, not fazed by really anything.
Well, you look at both players on either side, Tezuku Sakia and Harry Noon playing that same position, the number 10 sort of role.
They couldn't be more different.
Exactly right. The real physical size of Harry Noon.
And the tireless work rate as well that he brings. He's a very vocal player as well. Personality-wise, they're pretty much polar opposites. And these two teams are really mirrors, or in fact polar opposites of one another in style, and I think it's summed up by the differences between the two number 10s. Two equally valid, equally effective interpretations of the same role.
Tezuku Saki's got 6 NPL goals to Noon's 8, so they've both been great foils for their strikers, but whether it be Derek or Cahill or Liam Boland and the wingers of Avondale.
I'd wager they've racked up quite a few assists as well this season. Really difficult for Reid to get onto that. He was sold short by the passer in Lundy. That's a long ball from Hillier. It goes all the way through to Brandon White.
You can see what Derek was trying to do. He realised he was going to be second. He just tried to deflect the ball away, not actually trying to keep the boot that high up to make the actual challenge on the player.
It didn't make much contact. It did look a little dangerous, but I don't think the intent was malicious. Lundy with a little bit of time. He'll be closed down by Zara. Now Towns. Put under pressure well by Paul O'Brien, and Heidelberg win the throw.
It's just that work rate in the midfield from Heidelberg at the moment through Zara and Paul O'Brien.
It's suffocating. It's such an intimidating prospect when you've got Zara, Noon and Paul O'Brien running at you, not giving an inch.
Really cutting down those channels. They're fouled when Avondale look like they're going to break, so just made it a real stop-start game and very hard for Avondale, but they might get the chance now.
Boland's ball was behind Zini. The flag's up again against Stefan Zini. Not sure if it was more accurate than the last time.
As Heidelberg now have this chance to play, to try to get those second balls off Cahill again. Straight away, no Heidelberg player comes close, so once again will look long.
Wilkins sends long, diagonal for Tom Cahill. Reid wins the header. Derek. Nice little touch, but he loses his footing. Play goes on. Reid hoofs it forward. Dumbalis with the free header. Back to Reid. And back to Dumbalis. Bit of head tennis between the two centre halves. Noon. Up against Zini. Goes down.
Just great work protecting the ball there by Harry Noon.
We get another flashpoint here as the players come together. I think it'll end as soon as it began.
What an absorbing contest we've had so far. A couple of goals, yellow cards, and some big physical challenges and some flashpoints on the bench.
Plenty of smack talk between both sets of players and both sets of coaches.
Imagine if we had the effects mic out today here, Josh.
Not fit for broadcast.
I think an explicit warning would have to come up.
One's too far, but Derek will pick it up at the back post. He's got the run from Way. He ignores him and goes back to Paul O'Brien. Way. Ahmed got a foot in. Kamano. Avondale, I think he was pulled back. Instead, it's Zara. Cahill, Zara fighting for it, and Towns uses his body well and wins the goal kick.
Just got a comment here from George Noon. On our way over to Australia, hopefully get the win so we can see the final game. So Hopefully for the Noon family that could be a possibility, but Avondale do stand in their way. And George Noon asked who got the second. It was Adrian Zara from the penalty spot. Ute Towns opened the scoring for Avondale, then an own goal from Lundy before Zara put Heidelberg in front from the spot.
This game really on a knife edge. Avondale's play has been so interrupted. They were on top in the first 10 or 15 minutes, clearly. Trying to get back to that pattern of play. It's Towns. Derek putting the pressure on. Zara. Now Noon. Stabs one over the top. Hillier juggles it into the air. Noon gets onto the second ball. Noon whipping it into the area. Oldfield claims. And he'll restart with the throw out to Jonathan Gamano. Sakia. Races away from Ellis. Sakia one-on-one with Wilkins. He's taken out by Josh Wilkins. That will be a card, surely. Yes, a yellow card for the fullback.
They're just making it so tough here for Avondale with that persistent fouling. Just before two, Avondale looked like they had space and players moving forward, and just that sloppy pass that Lucas Derrick was able to get a foot in sort of turned the game back the other way to Heidelberg to moving towards their attacking box. And they get another chance, Avondale, to bring it out. And Tezuku Sakia for the fourth time today has been on the end of a crunching tackle.
He's managed to ride a lot of those challenges. I think he's quite skillful at doing that. Very much used to this sort of treatment. When you are as skillful a player as he, you need to prepare yourself mentally and physically to put up with it, and he's fit enough to stand over the free kick and offer his set-piece services.
Both sides are pretty well matched in the air too, with height.
Matt Reid certainly a dangerous target in there. He scored a number of goals for Moreland City last season before moving over up to the top division. Such a weapon in the air. Sakia. It was Liam Boland. And a foul off the ball, I think, or maybe just in that heading collision. Tom Cahill is sprawled on the deck.
And Reid wasn't too far away from that as well. It was just slightly over his head as he was trying to flick it forward, but
I think he might have a bit of a gash on his forehead or maybe a blood rule. Can't really see from this distance. He'll certainly have checking over from the physio.
Okay, he'll gets that chance to... Well, everyone on the pitch gets a chance to have a little break. And in the end, it was two players going for a header, and I think it was just a clash of heads between Cahill and it might have been Boland as well.
I think you're right, Chris. Cahill will have to leave the field of play before returning, but he looks fine to continue. The early substitute after Stephen Pace went down with that injury prompted a full reshuffle in the Heidelberg team, and I think tactically, spot on from George Katsakis, realising what wasn't working and using the blow of losing your defensive leader in Stephen Pace as a way to restructure the team in a more functional way for the set of circumstances. And we'll restart with actually a drop ball. It wasn't a foul. It's just a clash of heads, and Tom Cahill has returned to play, and he will be the target for this long diagonal. So it was Derek's header. Zara. Towns winning the challenge. Boland trying to send Zinni away. It was intercepted. These moves keep breaking down for Avondale, but Ute Towns, who opened the scoring, has been key to most of their good play in this match so far. Zinni went down off the ball, up against his opposite number 7, Reuben Way.
I think Stefan Zinni realised that he wasn't going to get onto the end of that ball and tried to use a little collision between him and Reuben Way to try to get a foul. Once again, just Avondale through midfield. Heidelberg are quick to press up against them and put that physical game onto them. The slow pitch is really helping Heidelberg.
Towns with a header. Gamano trying to open up the field. He's Tasuku Sakia. He's got Lundy running in overlap in support. Lundy will whip it in on his right. It's deflected. Gamano flicking it down. Ahmed on the second ball. Ahmed! It's just blazed high and wide of the goal, and that's Yusuf Ahmed's second presentable scoring opportunity.
Just with the two Heidelberg players diving in front of him, he tried to take it a little bit quicker and he was always stretching on the shot. That's much better by Avondale, picking up the balls at the edge of the box and trying to get that strike onto White's goal. Trying to get level in this game as we're getting closer and closer to half-time.
He's got so much power on both his feet, in fact. He had a chance to remember in the opening moments of this contest, which he dragged wide as well, but when he connects with one properly, gets it on target as Sakia's gone down again.
This time no fouls being given, but
I think the referee's attention was already drawn elsewhere. He didn't see that collision between Sakia and Paul O'Brien.
And 6 times that Sakia's hit the turf. Just keeps getting up again.
We'll have some bruises tomorrow. Cahill's flick, Oldfield claims comfortably.
And just got a message through from George Koutsanis from the Pioneers. He's watching from Venice, so he's obviously there with his lovely, but has decided to stay here and watch a bit of NPL football instead.
Get your priorities straight, Kotzi. Fantastic contributor to kind of recover some of the football history that we've lost here in Victoria over the years.
He's an absolute star, George Koutsanis.
Avondale trying to get things going quickly. Here's Yite Towns. Zinni.
Must admit, this time of the day, his lovely's probably sleeping, so...
Actually, I'm not sure what the time difference is looking like over to Venice. Here's Yusuf Ahmed again, picking up the ball deep this time. Restarts through Charlie Beverley. Lundy. 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. We've had plenty of stoppages. I think it might even be a conservative estimate. Germano. Biles making the most of that one and letting the referee know he was clipped.
Just Katsakis is not happy. He wants Zara and O'Brien to be a little bit closer to the back four, not allow Avondale to be able to play off Boland or play off Yusuf Ahmed. And Luke Biles is saying the same thing, stay nice and narrow and compact till half-time.
Heidelberg will be delighted with this first half effort if they can go in at 2-1 up, away from home when they really need to win here. Towns. No foul. Play continues. Germano. Towns recovering possession. Now Lundy. Ahmed. Always likes to dribble, Ahmed, and he's just lost control of that one. Dumbalis, who was a little out of position there, is in the right place in the end to hoof it clear.
Sitting quite deep, Heidelberg, at the moment.
Beverley's ball misses the target, and Liam Boland has cut something of an isolated figure at times in this first half. Helio with space and time. Offset towards Zinni and Way. Ruben Way. And Reed is clipped by Harry Noon. That will be a free kick as we're ticking the seconds down here in the first half. It's been a thoroughly absorbing contest for so many reasons so far. Plenty of goal math action, plenty of bite and heavy challenges coming in. It's been a game for something for everyone. Zara, Beverley, Lundy. Sakia couldn't pick out his feet, Lundy. Wilkins will hit the line and Avondale will have perhaps one more opportunity on the stroke of half-time. Towns will have to go quickly. Reed finding Germano. It was a loose touch trying to play that pass first time, and that will be first half. What a first half. So much action, so much drama. Yite Towns opened the scoring, but Heidelberg fought back as they always do. 2 set pieces leading to 2 goals. And an unfortunate own goal So Brandon Lundy, after Chris Oldfield could not claim a Sean Ellis corner, and then it was Sean Ellis again whipping a delivery into the box from a free kick, and Matt Reid pushed over Tom Cahill. Penalty kick, Adrian Zara, to put Heidelberg 2-1 up going into half-time. Chris Gleeson, your thoughts?
Well, it really did change the game once Stephen Pace did go off injured and Heidelberg made a tactical change, bringing Tom Cahill, the striker, on. But before that, Avondale had a little bit more space in midfield. Yute Towns, he said, took his opportunity fantastic. But after that, they invited pressure back on themselves. Avondale just a little bit uncertain in possession from the back, and Heidelberg did well to press high and create a few interceptions and really make it hard for Avondale to move the ball forward. And in the end, like I said, 2 set-piece opportunities. They just defended very poorly and gave up the goals.
I think Heidelberg have really been able to impose themselves upon this game, and not too many shots, 3 shots each, 3 on target from Heidelberg, 2 goals. I mean, one of them wasn't even from one of their shots, but they've been very, very economical. I do wonder whether some of the yellow cards might come back to haunt at least one of these teams, as we've seen a number of them here in the first half. But so far, Heidelberg with the edge. At half-time here at Avenger Park, Avondale 1, Heidelberg 2. Josh Parrish and Chris Gleeson back with you in just 15 minutes. Welcome back to Avenger Park here in Parkville for this championship, or I should say premiership decider. It's first versus second here, and Heidelberg have made the better start. The first half coming back from a goal down to lead 2-1 at the break. Avondale with it all to do to wrap up the minor premiership today. Josh Parrish alongside Chris Gleeson. Chris, what did you make of the first half, and what do you think Avondale need to do to get back into this contest?
I think Heidelberg just really controlled the midfield there in the first half. Tezuka Sakia was persistently fouled, and they just broke up all the attacks, and Avondale got to really try to move the ball a bit quicker in midfield to get past that.
Can't hold on to it for too long when these very disciplined Heidelberg players will always close you down as we get started for the second half. We'll go through the team shortly. There's been one substitution already in this game, with Stephen Pace going off with an injury, as that clearance from White doesn't make it too far, but Biles is there to clean up. Hillier heads back to his goalkeeper. Oldfield restarting with Beverley. No changes for either side at the break, but we did see a massive reshuffle of the Heidelberg team in the first half that had a great impact on the game. It was maybe a blessing in disguise. Gave George Katsakis the opportunity to bring Tom Cahill on up front and shuffle a few things around, give them more of a focal point to aim for.
I think just with Avondale, if they pass the ball to Tezuka Sakia in midfield, he's got to have a player to bounce off. It's got to be one touch into somebody else. So it still pulls Biles out of position, who keeps following him into midfield, but then they can play off another player. We saw it early in the game where Germano made the run in behind when they did that. So they've got to do that a little bit better.
Yes, absolutely. That's an opportunity for Avondale to exploit. At the moment, it's been edging in Heidelberg's favour, with Biles pressing out from the back four and tracking those runs between the lines, but we did see Germano spring through and can create gaps if Avondale can move the ball quick enough and get away from these physical challenges and all the pressure that's coming their way. It's easier said than done, of course, and would have been one of the, if not the biggest halftime team talk of Zoran Markovski's coaching career at halftime.
Oh, already see a couple of times when Avondale have had possession in defence. They've gone for Bowen first times, trying to get it to him and him to play off instead of passing short to midfield with Germano and Tezuka Sakia.
Hillier gives up the ball there. Towns winning it back. Been probably Avondale's best today. Ite Towns, apart from the goal, been very productive as he wins the ball again. Towns, he would have liked a little more behind that pass, but we'll go through to Brendan White, and I think Towns let himself down there after doing the hard yards.
Just both sides just trying to get back into the rhythm of things. It was quite a heated first half.
Certainly so. We saw, I think, 5 yellow cards on the field, and at least one more for the coaching staff. As Ite Towns is brought down, he's been another player who's copped a lot of hard challenges. Restarted quickly. Germano looking to find Sakia's feet. Sakia under pressure from Derek. He gets it back. Jonathan Germano to curl one! What a goal! Jonathan Germano with a piece of magic! It's 2-2!
Well, we said before the game we like the inclusion of him into the midfield. That's the quality he possesses. Linking up with Tezuka Sakia in midfield, and when he had chance to curl it, boy, did he make the most of it. Top corner, White clutching it there, and Avondale back level.
They moved the ball quickly through midfield there, Chris. The words of their coach ringing in their ears for the halftime break. It was Germano into Sakia, and he got it back, and that's the quality the Argentine possesses. A big call from Zoran Markovski to bring him into the starting 11 this season after he spent so much time on the bench. But hasn't he paid his coach back in spades? What a goal. Avondale 2, Heidelberg 2.
It's again the premiership is once again in Avondale's reach. The perfect start to the second half that they probably could have asked for.
Given away by Cahill. Zinni races away from 2. Yusuf Ahmed just isn't quite on the same wavelength. It was Lundy probably the preferred option, as Avondale fans give Brendan White, plenty of stick behind the goal. Towns. Lundy. Playing into the feet of Zinni. He lets it go for Boland. Boland, time to turn. Trying to pick out Ahmed at the back post. It's just a little overhit. They've got a spring in their step now, Avondale. Ahmed trying to nutmeg Ruben Way. Wins the throw.
And so that straight away this second half, they're not playing to a midfielder facing with his back to goal, not allowing Heidelberg to really put that pressure on the back and give those fouls away. Now they're turning Heidelberg around and they're running at him.
Towns. Starting again, playing patiently. Beverley. Space and time. Go all the way back to Oldfield. Andy Vargas, the assistant coach, encouraging Beverley to be a bit braver with his forward passes. How long can Heidelberg keep up the level of intensity that brought them back into the game and back into the lead after going down so early? Hite Towns for Suku Sakia. Back to the feet of Yusuf Ahmed. Boland. Zinni. Shapes up on his right, trying to repeat the trick from Germano, but that one flies high and wide, can't get the curl on it.
Once again, if a player gets it back to goal, it's a 1-2 touch, move it quickly. Not giving Heidelberg a chance to get close and to make those challenges. And you can see now the game's with speed. This is the way Avondale want to play, and Heidelberg have to find a way to change the game back in their favour again.
Such a compelling contest. The clash of styles just provides so much intrigue. Avondale, pendulum back in their favour, even though the scores are level. Remember, Heidelberg need to win today. Ellis. Noon, back to Ellis. Ellis on his left. Saved by Oldfield. Reed onto the rebound quickly.
Perfect position from Chris Oldfield. As soon as it came to Ellis, he knew that he was going to try to curl for that corner. He anticipated it and made sure he had enough room to come over and make a smart save.
Way with the long throw. Looking for Tom Cahill. He will flick it goalwards, but it's a simple enough mark for the former Liverpool youth goalkeeper, Chris Oldfield. Apparently was impressing Rafa Benitez before Big Rafa departed Anfield, and Oldfield's contract was not extended there. He's had quite the interesting journeyman career, coming to Australia with Hume City. Sakia was felled again, and despite the poor turnover from Oldfield, Avondale will get the free kick. And how many times have we seen Sakia fouled in this game?
That's what Avondale have done well in the first half, not to happen, where Tezuka Sakia not having a player to play too quickly, back to goal, having to try to turn and do it himself. Heidelberg are just happy to foul in that area. So, in saying that, Chris Oldfield isn't the only one who still hasn't gone over the departure of Rafa, Josh. me being a big Newcastle fan.
Oldfield's long ball. Boland, of course, the target. Up with Way. Gets the flick to Ahmed. Ahmed with a nice touch inside. He'll feed Liam Boland. One more pass on. He will go himself. Liam Boland! Saved by White.
Excellent work there from Avondale. Again, Boland just peeling off, going towards Dumbalis or going towards Ruben Way, and gives him a much better chance to win the ball in the air. And that's twice now that he's been able to find Yusuf Ahmed.
Very encouraging start from Avondale. Apart from the goal, they've just been playing with so much more intensity and vigour, and the ball's been moving quickly, and now they have it with Stefan Zinni. Checks back inside, looking for the back post. And that will be a goal kick, despite their protestations. I wonder if the overlap for Lundy was the better option there. Hindsight being 20/20 and all.
There's a perfect chance here for White just to slow the game down for the moment.
Need to catch their breath, Heidelberg. Vargas, the Chilean, speaking Spanish to Gamano, the Argentinian, in midfield. Beverley out and behind for a corner. And it's been offset pieces that Heidelberg have done some of their best work. in this game. Can they trouble the Avondale backline again?
Well, Lucas Derrick, from watching Heidelberg the last couple of weeks, he normally likes to swing it in close to the near post. You see that run from Wilkins at the moment.
This one goes towards the back. It's beyond Noon, who is wrestling with Germano. The two man buns going head to head.
Now, there is a few questionable hairstyles on this side, I must admit. Maybe in the commentary too there, Joshy.
Don't say a bad word about the man bun. It's a perfectly respectable haircut for the... We're in Brunswick after all, Chris. Towns. Germano chests it down for Boland. Wrestling with Noon. He's tripped. Referee scores play on, in fact. Heidelberg win. Second ball. Noon. Doesn't come off, but Harry Noon's ability to turn... Oh, that's a poor clearance from Beverley. Cahill. Heidelberg, the ability to turn nothing chances into some things is why they're so successful. That one stays in for Sean Ellis. O'Brien. Good cross into the area. Reed, diving header under pressure from Tom Cahill. Goes back out to Sean Ellis with some lovely feet. Out and behind for a corner.
What delicious delivery that was into the box. Reed, very brave, throwing his body in there as Cahill threw the foot at it. So still stay on the attack, Heidelberg. Good couple of minutes from them.
Certainly putting his head in harm's way, Matt Reed, and that's something you can count on him to do. Trying to make up for the first half when he gave away a penalty on Cahill. Ellis in low. Germano should have an opportunity to get the lines clear, and Way was under pressure from Zinni, and he's misplaced that pass.
That's the pace and quality that Stefan Zinni can possess. Ruben Way thought he had a little bit more time on that ball than he did, and in the end had to rush it. And Chris Oldfield can take the goal kick.
I'd be amazed if the scoreline stays at 2-2 after all of the drama and goal math action we've seen so far today, but a draw would be preferable for Avondale than Heidelberg.
And speaking of both coaches before the game, that their draw's not really in the thinking of either side. They want to go out here and they want to get a win today. Heidelberg, obviously a win will bring it to the final day and put everything in their favour.
Yes, Avondale do have to visit Bentley Greens on the final day of the season, whereas Heidelberg play South Melbourne.
A tasty couple of games, all games kicking off at the same time, but must admit in history's gone past, games at Lakeside for some reason always kick off a little bit later than the rest, so Heidelberg might have the chance to, if it does go to the final day, to sort of know what result they need with about 10 minutes to go in the game. So
Ahmed is offside.
It's well done by Ruben Way, realised the space that was there and stepped up.
Katsakis would prefer his defence stayed goal side and drop deep as a unit, but if you're going to get caught in a one-on-one duel for pace with Yusuf Ahmed, you probably prefer to step up and look for the flag. Certainly would be my approach. And free kick here for Heidelberg. It's Sean Ellis territory.
It's the only thing with Reed there. He's just, again, he's tried to use his hands for leverage there, but he's done it well. Harry Noon just played for it, felt the hands, went down, and the referee's quick to give the foul.
It's almost backed into him a little bit as well, just to send Reed over the top and sell the foul, as they say. But Matt Reed, a little bit naive.
Just that the two hands went over the shoulders and around the head there of Harry Noon, so referee sees that, he will give a foul. If he keeps his hands sort of straight, which he had time to do, he would have won that header and been able to clear it for Avondale, but now he's invited pressure from the magical boot of Sean Ellis.
This is a perfect place for him to take a set piece. We've seen him score so many over the years in NPL Victoria.
He's the man of the moment.
There's no one contesting him for this free kick. Usually you see a couple of options over the ball from any team, even if they're just dummies, but everybody knows Sean Ellis is going to take this one. Why even bother?
Well, the wall is very close and they keep creeping with no magic spray here in NPL Victoria. They've been allowed to do it.
Every tall player in the Avondale team called upon. Harry Noon in the wall to try and disrupt things. Sean Ellis beats the wall. And he doesn't quite beat Chris Oldfield, who got a fingertip to it.
Well, he had to go for power then because he was and sort of try to go around it, which was always going to keep the ball closer to Oldfield. Because that wall was able to creep so close, he was never going to really be able to get it up and over. But Oldfield, right position, makes the save.
Sean Ellis would prefer some magic spray if it was available. Sakia. Zinni. 2-on-1 against Zinni. Sakia's up to support as well. Runs into the box. Zinni might go himself. He tries to shoot, and it's very underwhelming in the end. He had Ahmed and Hillier steaming forward.
Yeah, as soon as he was forced wide, then he had to just really slow it up and wait for his teammates to come help him out.
Disappointing end product in the end for Stefan Zinni, but he's a prolific goal scorer from the wing.
Just a real uncharacteristic sort of corner too from Sean Ellis. He failed to get it into the box.
Noon lifts it over the defence. Holds up on this heavy Avenger Park pitch, as you pointed out in the first half, Chris, but can play havoc with goalkeepers, trying to know when to come off their line and when it's going to race through to them. Beverley. Sakia, hands in the back from Noon, and there'll be another foul on Suzuki Sakia.
That's the position that they want. Tezuku Sakia, Noon and O'Brien and Zara, they'll foul him all day in those situations. I know they're not really going to be risking a card for that, so just be able to slow the play up.
Beverley. Bolins. Hoofs it over the top. Zinni putting pressure on Wilkins. Wilkins in no man's land. Stefan Zinni gets onto the loose one. Lundy whips it into the area. It's headed away by Ruben Way. Derek keeps his feet. Lucas Derek, but the pass is disappointing.
Well, he has been Avondale pretty much well on top in this second half.
Heidelberg, even though they are the reigning champions, are adept at playing the underdog role if they need to. So even if they don't have the pattern of play, they are more than capable of scoring. Noon trying to play a give and go with Tom Cahill, but the two-man buns in the Heidelberg front line were not on the same wavelength. Way. Started off the game as a left winger, but he's since been moved back to a full-back role, which he's probably more accustomed to, although he's known to switch between them. Ahmed. Towns.
You see that once again, Yusuf Ahmed, that first touch, quickly he's got back to goal, play to a teammate, not give Heidelberg a chance to foul or be able to win the ball back.
Beverley. Biles' header. Bolin picks it up. He's got a challenge from Ellis. Germano, the equalising goal from his boot early in this second half. That one pass has been picked off, but Reid will start again through Sakia.
Just think Heidelberg have to make a change up top because Noon and Cahill just really aren't linking up well, and it's sort of the game at the moment where Heidelberg are playing from defence.
Play goes on as Heidelberg prepare a substitution. Here's Yite Towns. Play still going on, and that will be finally stopped for a free kick. And Luka Ninkovic will be introduced, as you mentioned, Chris. They do need a change up top. Adrian Zara will be the man to come off, perhaps.
I think Harry Noon will probably drop to midfield now. And
Zara off, suffering maybe a groin complaint, he's indicating. Ninkovic will go up top. Well, it's almost like a 4-2-4 at the moment, maybe just off this free kick. Chris will have a clearer idea of how Heidelberg are lining up in a moment.
I think Cahill will probably play that number 10 role, but quite close to Ninkovic. Ninkovic is quite a bigger body, good in the air, but he's also got the pace to get him behind. His work of the last couple of years in the West Australian Premier League has been excellent. So Luka Ninkovic hasn't had much of a chance in the Heidelberg lineup coming off the bench, and it will be a red card, eh?
Red card for one of the Avondale coaching staff. There's been plenty of drama between the benches so far.
Well, we sort of expected that something like this would happen because of the amount of abuse from both sidelines. The passions obviously mean so much. You know, semi-professional coaches and that as well, with going to their jobs and trying to create something and trying to make a name for themselves. And it can spill over a little bit sometimes.
Certainly. This referee goes through the requisite paperwork. Quite sure which member of the Avondale backroom team has been dismissed.
Now, after all that, we're ready to go back again, Josh.
It's been an unwelcome break in the action because it has been very absorbing action. This will go very long from Brendan White.
As Bill Parker says Ninkovic will score today.
Wouldn't bet against it. He's a very capable young player. It's not the best connection from White, and Germano will head forwards looking for Zini. Bit of a short back pass from Wilkins, but it does the job in the end. Ninkovic with his first involvement goes up for a header. Cahill again. O'Brien lofting it forward for Ninkovic. Beverley wins that header. Town's got there first to the loose one. Here's Sakia. Germano just off the mark. O'Brien, that one will just about trickle out.
And just in the other game today, it is half-time. It is Green Gully 2, Dandenong Thunder 1. Fletcher and Kalmar with the goals for Green Gully, and Dean Beroveskos for the Thunder.
Lundy's throw. Boland's header. And Germano was being held by Luke Biles. Beverley taking a drink. Certainly a sunnier day than we're accustomed to in the winter season of NPL.
It's a balmy 17 degrees here.
It's a lovely day for a game of football.
It feels good to be commentating without a big puffy jacket for a change, Josh.
Welcome change of pace from 17 layers we usually have to prepare for.
A lot different than Olympic Village last week.
Oh my goodness, don't get me started. Heidelberg could have gone top, of course, if they got a result, and we'll have another stoppage as I think it's Charlie Beverley who's gone down.
Really is an excellent atmosphere, hostile environment, both sets of fans in full voice.
It's a great turnout today. We've got the best seats in the house, Chris. Sakia. That one should be Brendan White's, and it is.
Well, Hillier did well to jump in front of him, try to make a nuisance, and in the end, White hold on. As we said, he's had a few nervous moments. He's been kept into the starting lineup. Chris Theodorides had the chance to go to Europe on a holiday, obviously semi-professional footballer.
Reed. Brendan White coming over from Brisbane Roar. He had quite a few appearances for the Roar at the back end of last A-League season, but back playing NPL now. It's time in Victoria.
Must admit, I was surprised he got that opportunity with the Roar. He was a solid keeper for Port Melbourne before that. But, he definitely took the chance and got his opportunity to play A-League.
We're getting a clearer picture of that lineup that Heidelberg have gone with now, the front four. Tom Cahill has dropped into a number 10 role with just supporting almost like a second striker together with Ninkovic leading the line outright, and Derek come to the right. Sean Ellis has gone to the left, although those two are known to swap wings.
Well, so with the target in the air that they have with Ninkovic and Cahill, Ellis moving to the left-hand side can try to get in behind and get those crosses in nice and early instead of having to be on the right-hand side, stepping back inside to get onto his left foot.
Oh, it's an awkward bounce. And Cahill will bring it down. Tom Cahill checking back inside. Clips it towards the back post. Derek to reel it in. Derek goes down looking for the penalty. Emphasis on looking, I think.
Yeah, he's won 4 penalties in the second half of the year for Heidelberg, and referee quickly waved that away. He wasn't going to get Heidelberg's 5th one.
Certainly his pace is usually the main attribute in that. But I think he went down a little easily there.
But I like the way that Liam Boland has turned things around here in the second half. Has done a great job of holding the ball up and playing his wingers in.
Avondale ball. Right ahead of the Heidelberg bench. It's Lundy to take. Boland's flick. Kamano with the header. Battling for it. Just comes off second best under pressure from a lot of players. That was a late challenge from Lundy. Advantage paid.
Well, George Katsakis is screaming out, where's the advantage? But when that ball broke free, there was a good pass that could have been played in behind. So the referee tried to allow, and once he's paid advantage, that's it.
If you shank the pass under no pressure, once you've been paid advantage, then I'm afraid it's bad luck. It's based on opportunity, not outcome. Ninkovic behind for a corner. Another set-piece opportunity for Heidelberg. They're racking up now how many corners and free kicks they've had in this game close to goal, but be in double digits, I'd imagine.
Get that stat in a minute for you.
Stefan Valentini preparing to come on. He's been playing a central role for Avondale in the later parts of this season. Ellis. Beverly heads away. Zara to hook it back in the half volley. It's Boland to attack it. Hillier, Skywoods. Boland wins it against Noon. Boland playing the long diagonal for Yusuf Ahmed. It's a brilliant ball. And now it's Yusuf Ahmed to go to work. He puts it into the area. Crucial interception from Paul O'Brien. Towns. And he's been taken out late by Paul O'Brien. Avondale won a second yellow card for the hard man in midfield, as the board will go up in just a moment.
It's the last bit of work for Yusuf Ahmed in that game, it seems, with Valentini coming on for him. In fact, I
think it might be Stefan Zini coming off, if I can.
Sure it is. It's number 7, Zini.
And Avondale will have a good set-piece opportunity of their own, just outside the area. Sakia, Boland, Gamano all jostling for it.
And all three are very capable. We're seeing Gamano score from range this game. Tuzuku Saki started the season with an absolute peach against Dandenong City back in round 1. And Liam Boland, you know how much he'll go there for power on the left foot option. Keep the goalkeeper guessing.
Substitution has been made. Stefan Zini coming off. Stefan Valentini coming on. And what a luxury to be able to bring on Stefan Valentini as a substitute. The strength and depth from Avondale. It's been tested by an injury crisis midway through the season, but certainly they've got quality. Joey Katabian still in reserve as another substitute is prepared for Heidelberg. I think it's Chris Dibb. I'll wait until after this set piece to make the change. Boland or Sakia. It's Boland, and it's blocked by play not even in the wall. Disappointing outcome in the end after a long build-up.
Luke Biles did a great job then. He sort of realised it was going to be Boland, stepped into that path, not allowing him to play it low into that corner, and got his positioning perfect and was able to clear.
Harry Noon coming off. That's a big call. Trying to harden up that midfield. Chris Dibb, a very versatile player.
It's been a handy player for Heidelberg, especially over the last couple of weeks where Joshua Wilkins has missed a few games.
Looks like he's playing a defensive role in midfield. Surely Heidelberg wouldn't be settling for the draw, but maybe trying to win a few more balls to spring some counter-attacks as Avondale go for the winner. Imagine that's the thinking behind the change, if I could try and step into George Katsakis' shoes. Get the feeling Heidelberg were just running out of legs a bit, so maybe Dibb can just provide some energy. Germano sliced forward. Ahmed chasing it down, last touch off way. And Germano trying to award the throw before the referee did. Luckily they were in agreement. Hillier. Reed has to juggle and volley clear. It's Wilkins. That's a dangerous one. Valentini goes in. And it's a free kick for Heidelberg. Referee says Valentini was coming in with a raised foot. You imagine goalkeepers usually get the protection of the benefit of the doubt in those situations.
I'll have another look at it in a second, but to me it just looked like, well, both players got towards the ball, both players got connection on the ball. I can't really see how there's a foul either way, to be honest.
Zoran Markovski has been booked.
Because it's not a situation where the goalkeeper had his hands out to try to win that ball, where you think, well, the high boot, he'll give the foul. But both players went with a pretty high boot. Both players managed to get connection to the ball, so...
The goalkeeper could have gone with his hands as well. It was curious technique from Brendan White, really. I guess it's difficult to put your hands somewhere where the boot's going to go, but he was entitled to handle that one.
It's a couple of times that ball heading back to the goalkeeper. It's just really slowed on the turf and made it hard for the keeper to come back. As
Yite Towns goes down here, he's struggled with injury this campaign.
I've had a chance to look at it a few times now, and to me, it would have been play on, but as you say, the goalkeepers always seem to win that one.
Play on had been awarded, then it might have gone in the back of the net anyway. Germano was there. It's difficult to say with a scramble in the box. Yite Towns will leave the field at least temporarily.
I feel like I've just calmed down the Avondale bench there with my sort of referee's view, looking at it a few times.
Chris Gleeson, fourth official.
I think the fourth official who was copping the earful was quite happy for that little bit of advice to Zoran Markovski.
Bit more involved in the proceedings than we're used to being, Chris. Oh dear, passion's running high. Very intense afternoon of NPL football with a title on the line. Yite Towns will return to the fray.
We're getting closer and closer to the final 10 minutes of this game.
Cahill, Yite Towns again stepping in, and he's collected. And the referee paid advantage there. I'm not sure if there was an advantage. And Chris Dibb will go into the book, maybe for dissent, I think.
Well, he did stop a promising attack, but once the ball was cleared,
I think
Avondale didn't make that pass. The ball was just moving forward, so...
I think that the yellow card was for the tackle, in fact, I should say. It was Chris Dibb with the tackle, and the referee let play go on and then brought it back after the advantage, just to correct myself there.
Just in other news too, Green Gully have a third, so they lead 3-1 against Dandenong Thunder, whose defensive problems continue.
Difficult for Danny Thunder as they look to avoid relegation. Ellis is collected. There was an earlier foul. And Heidelberg will have another set-piece opportunity. The foul was on Ellis.
And 10 minutes to go, Heidelberg A couple of weeks ago, they left it very late against Port Melbourne to get the winner that really kept them close with Avondale on this run home. Obviously a fierce battle with Oakley, which saw them draw last week in a 0-0 game, but Heidelberg, this is the sort of moments they live for, and what they've been able to come with the last few years has seen them win games like this. Another big moment.
Team for the big occasion, and this is a big moment. Sean Ellis to send one in. He goes for goal. Chris Oldfield is anticipating it. So I think that was a shot. Lundy just under pressure from Luka Ninkovic. Beverley pumps it down the line. Mbalis puts his head on it. Valentini to flick it centrally. Yusuf Ahmed trying to make up the ground. Valentini. Sakia, a lovely little dummy. Helia trying to spring Ahmed in between the lines. He's been a little pin to the sideline there, Ahmed, but he restarts through Scott Hillier. Towns. I have to say is my man of the match today, at least so far. Yite Towns. It's been a splendid performance at the base of the midfield under intense pressure constantly. Derek, let us know in the Facebook Live comments if you agree or disagree with my analysis, although that is a free kick.
And I think he was really looking for that, Lucas, Derek. We had a bit of a better angle. He was sort of starting to go down before that little opportunity of a challenge was made on him, but once again sets it up for even a bit closer here for Sean Ellis. He's had a couple of siders now.
Looks as if there's going to be another change for Avondale very shortly. So Dylan Jacoupy to be introduced.
So he's quite a versatile player, same as Christopher Dibb, can play full back or anywhere across the back four and in midfield. Okay, Jib, I reckon they probably should have an extra man in this wall because the way that Ellis can curl it, that little gap in between Towns and the wall is where he'll be aiming for to try to curl it.
Sean Ellis. It's Towns with similar good instincts that we saw from Luke Biles not too long ago, getting involved when he wasn't actually in the wall.
It just sets up what a final series we're going to have when you've got two sides playing the way they're playing today. What has been the tightest NPL Victoria season that I can ever remember.
We had plenty of drama in the final series last time. Ellis to the area looking for Cahill. It's cleared by Avondale. Now Derek goes to work, looks for another free kick. He won't get that one. And there's an opportunity now to spring forward on the break for Avondale. Yite Towns finds Sakia on his chest. Sakia. Pass didn't come off as he intended. And the referee calls advantage.
Outstanding work, Paul O'Brien.
There's a clash there between Sean Ellis and Germano. And Charlie Beverley will be replaced by Dylan Jacoupy, with Hillier moving to a centre-back role.
Well, Jacoupy offers something different. He's got the physicality, acceleration. He's one of the quickest players in this league. Jacoupy. He's had his injury battles, but he'll be there with Sean Ellis, just not allowing him to get these crosses in.
Valentini. Towns trying to get amongst it. It's Paul O'Brien again. It's been so crucial with so many interventions for Heidelberg. Stop counter-attacks, to make last-ditch challenges. Does the dirty work and the hard yards.
So we're getting towards the end of this game now. You just said there's going to be this one or two more moments for either side to make the most of it. And we see that these big games are won by those little moments which you make the absolute most of. We saw Jonathan Germano and Yite Towns from range score magical goals in this game for Avondale. And then a couple of defensive frailties with giving away a penalty with a push, which Zara scored, and Obviously the own goal with Lundy where Oldfield missed it and come off Lundy's quad.
Nice touch off Valentini. That will be a Heidelberg ball.
And Green Gully have a fourth now, so Thunder in a world of hurt. Game Boland's a target.
He flicks, trying to get things out, and that's a costly back pass. Valentini will keep going to prevent the offside. It's Valentini through on goal. Stefan Valentini, it's saved by White. Ahmed and Valentini got in each other's way. Ahmed was worried about the offside flag, and Brendan White has come up with one hell of a stop.
You're not going to get a bigger moment to win a premiership than that. One-on-one versus the goalkeeper. White, what a save.
Towns coming forward. He's chopped down. There'll be another free kick, but you're not going to get a better chance than that as Joey Katabian is introduced.
What a big moment that was. It's in the end, I think if Ahmed did touch that, he might have been offside too. So Valentini basically grabbed him and pulled him out of the way to make sure that he could go through on goal. And the ball was just, as I said, this pitch is quite choppy now. It was just bobbling and bobbling in front of him, and in the end he just tried to place it, and it didn't have enough power on it. It gave the chance for White to get down low, and you can see why he's been given opportunities to play professional in goals as Brandon White, and what a save.
It was a fantastic stop. You wonder if Ahmed hadn't been there, Valentini would have had more time to pick his spot. It's a moment of sheer panic for both sides, I think.
I think you would have thought that Paul O'Brien must have thought about bringing him down as well.
Certainly would have been dismissed if he had. It's Germano in near post. White saves again at the second time of asking. And meanwhile, we've seen Tasuku Sekia, who's put in one hell of a shift in midfield, replaced by Joey Katabian as Avondale go all out looking for the win. What a finish we've got on our hands.
Big moment there for Avondale, who get the foul now, but
Ninkovic was holding the shirt of Dylan Jacopi.
As I just said, it's just those big moments you have in a game, and I said that was just the biggest chance of the game there, and well, White was up for the task, just getting down low as he did.
He's got brilliant reach. One of the lanky frames, long arms. Towns tripped over the ball. Here's Germano. Back to Towns. He's regained his footing. Ahmed. Jacopi. Katabian. Trying to play one in behind. It's intercepted by Sean Ellis. No foul. And Avondale have wasted the opportunity.
Well, it's interesting, just hearing Zoran Markovsky then, he wants his side to keep his shape. Heidelberg's the one who has to chase this game. I just said now it's getting towards 5 minutes to go. Avondale don't have to commit too many numbers forward. It's still in their hands on the final day if it ends in a draw. So maybe they can sort of hope that Heidelberg open themselves up a little bit, trying to get this late winner, and Avondale have a chance in the break.
Such a balancing act for both sides at this point in the contest. Katabian.
It's really where the managers really earn their money now, this sort of moment. The wrong decision or the right decision could really decide the premiership.
Ellis being held by Jacopi. Heidelberg will get the free kick. Germano standing on it. It's been really a pleasure and a privilege to call this one, Chris. Not going to get more atmosphere or tension in a game this level. Way to the back post. Valentini. Katabian to clear.
Really dangerous area for Valentini to head the ball into then.
It's almost a centering header for the opposition.
Lucky it fell to Katabian. Another chance for Wilkins to launch. In fact, O'Brien to launch this one into the box with a long throw, the Rory Delap delivery.
Valentini, a better clearance this time. O'Brien's header, and now it's Luka Ninkovic to hook it into the box. Just a little long for the runners in there. Appeals for handball, pretty hopeful ones on Jakupi. Jakupi will race away, and surely that was advantage. I think the referee
was not happy about that, but that's what I said about that acceleration from Dylan Jakupi. Really
caught the referee off guard, I suppose.
And it's a disappointing moment with Bean. I thought the referees handled the game fairly well today. It's just those 3 or 4 occasions with the advantage where I think he could have let it go or brought it back a couple of times, but other than that, I think he's done a great job.
Free kick was nearly intercepted by Ninkovic. Instead, it's fallen kindly for Towns. So we have 4 minutes of stoppage time. Ahmed, it's been a very difficult game to officiate. Boland shanked it a little bit. It's curled into the path of Valentini. Valentini taking on his man. The free kick will go the other way.
Oh, another big decisions, Avondale. In fact, Valentini, with a bit of back chat, will get the yellow card for that, but I'm not sure about that. I thought it was a nice little nutmeg and used the body well to shield it.
Referee was closer to it than us, Chris, but I tend to agree.
There's a Valentini into the book, and a chance to Heidelberg to try to get this second ball again off their strikers.
Will we get a deciding moment in this game? Will we get a title deciding goal, or will it go down to the final week all square with Avondale a point clear on top? That's how it stands currently. Heidelberg need a goal to put it in their hands. Avondale need a goal to wrap things up. It's Ellis! Is this the moment? It won't be.
Oldfield up to the task, but once again, the second ball, the flick header straight into the path of Alice, bounced off his chest a bit too much, and the ball bounced up, and Oldfield quick rushing, got his body in the way.
What an intervention by Chris Oldfield. He was at fault for the first goal today. He's come up big there.
Well, you think of Fergie time, Katsaka's time really is in the stoppage time, which the board hasn't gone up because the fourth official was a bit busy with the 2 benches before, so...
I think it was 4 minutes, Chris, we saw.
Yeah.
Oh, it's flicked goalwards. Trying to recover it is Biles. Dinks it back to Ellis. That one's curled out of play and onto the roof of the nets.
So again, Oldfield wastes no time. The most dramatic of late winners could happen here. What a big moment this could be for Avondale if they get it. It could be the biggest moment in the club's history of rising through the state leagues to play NPL and now find themselves on top of the ladder, and a late goal here and they'll be winning the title.
Less than 90 seconds to go, Chris, we've just heard.
Maybe it's the chance for Heidelberg now.
Of course, it's a minimum. If there's stoppages in stoppage time, we'll have more time added on as O'Brien looks to send another one long. Launch, throw in. Cahill's flick, a little too much on it. Ways header back to Cahill. Hillier does well. Bile steps in. It's Ellis! It's there! Heidelberg have won it at the death, surely! It's their talisman, Sean Ellis! Out of nothing! Out of absolutely nothing! How do they do it?
They do this time and time again, Heidelberg. Decide for the big moments. Last minute, Alice had a sighter just moments ago. They keep the ball alive, and that long ball just getting the ball forward. Faldo Alice, and this time made no mistake with the on-rushing Chris Oldfield. Heidelberg now have the advantage, and it looks like they will be going into the final day with the lead and the title all in their hands. Incredible scenes here at Avenger Park.
The first time they've had the lead all game, and they've saved it for stoppage time.
Really is not much time to go.
We've had a false start here.
You can see that Avondale are going to play it back and send all their players as far forward as they can.
Ahmed chips it into the channel. Wilkins, clearance was blocked. Hillier has to go route one now. Looks for Liam Boland. Boland battling for it with Way. Centres the ball. Heidelberg should clear. It's Dibb. Derek wins the header and goes down. No foul. Germano, last chance saloon. It's all over. Heidelberg have done it again. They go into the final day 2 points clear on top with it all in their hands. A shattering blow for Avondale, who for most of that second half were perhaps the better side. But the final score is all that counts, Chris.
That's it, absolutely outstanding the way Heidelberg always managed to do this. What a blow this could possibly be in Avondale's season, not just for the chance of winning the premiership, but with the finals to come, the mental blow that this will produce on Avondale, who really haven't had a great second half to the year. They were so far clear. At one stage, they were 9 points clear on top of the ladder. But it's George Katsakis' men and Heidelberg who get the win at the death. Sean Ellis, once again, they've got so many big moment players, Heidelberg, and Ellis, what a finish.
Heidelberg do what they do best. They've come here to Avenger Park and they've scored 3 goals out of very little. They've turned a result on its head. The final score here in Parkville is Avondale 2, Heidelberg 3. Thank you all for tuning in on the NPL Victoria live stream. We'll be back next week to do it all again, with all games kicking off simultaneously to decide the title. Josh Parrish and Chris Gleeson signing off.